Welcome to our Emerging Readers Workshop for 2022. Thank you for your interest and participation in this presentation. We hope that you find it informative. Throughout this presentation, we'll be focusing on the how, what, and why of reading. You will hear from a number of our amazing junior primary staff as they will be taking us through some examples of reading strategies used in the classroom that parents can also use at home to support their child with their reading development. Firstly, I'd like to begin this presentation with an acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge that this land that we meet on today is the traditional land of the Kaurna people, and we respect their spiritual relationship with their country. We also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region and recognise that their cultural heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. All reception to Year 2 students that were at school today received a parent information pack. In this pack, you will find a number of documents that may support you throughout this presentation and into the future. There are 2 articles focusing on the parent's role in reading that have been included for your reference. These are the maroon and blue documents. The 2 brightly coloured documents are samples of reading tips and jolly phonics words that will also support your child's reading at home. It's important to note that the tricky words document is colour-coded, matching with the readers at school. For more information around this, please talk to your child's classroom teacher. And the last document with the 4 boxes is a breakdown of the reading strategies that a number of our staff will unpack throughout the presentation today. It is important to recognise that all children's reading development begins at home. The importance and the exposure to reading and vocabulary for children is second to none. This can be in either formal or informal settings, such as conversations between family members during mealtimes. Reading with children is one of the most enjoyable things a parent, grandparent, or carer can do, and as a bonus, it helps children's language development and knowledge about the world around them. When schools, families, and community groups work together to support learning, children tend to do better in school, stay in school longer, and like school more. Often as a parent, you can feel like you don't know where to begin. These 4 key strategies will help support the reading development of your child and are a great place to start. Listen to and help your child practice their reading aloud. Read to your child. Talk with your child about their reading. Share your own reading experiences. It is important to remember that these strategies apply to both beginning readers and children reading independently or on their own. Our practice and development in reading should never end. It is always something that can be shared at home in various settings, no matter how old the child is. This diagram shown illustrates how complex the art of reading actually is. There are so many components that need to come together to be considered a skilled reader. The red section outlines language comprehension factors. This is mostly recognised as the understanding of what happens behind the reading. This includes aspects such as vocabulary or word knowledge and background knowledge, students' prior experiences and exposures. The blue section identifies word recognition factors such as decoding and phonological awareness. This is mainly the mechanics of reading, recognizing the sounds and symbols used. A simple breakdown of this can be seen at the bottom of the screen. Decoding, or recognizing sounds and symbols, multiplied by language comprehension, the understanding of spoken language, equals reading comprehension. One cannot exist without the other. This really emphasises the importance of early engagement in reading at home.
Learning to read takes varying time. However, there are 6 key skills that everyone needs to develop to become a confident reader. These skills are oral language, phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. These essential skills bind together for us to become skilled readers. We're going to unpack each now. Let's start with oral language and vocabulary. Oral language is fundamentally spoken words, how we use our voice to express our thoughts and feelings and how we share our knowledge. It is talking. Vocabulary is knowing words and when to use them. Having a wide vocabulary helps us to better understand our world and make stronger connections. Children begin developing oral language skills and vocabulary long before they start school. Babies use oral language to communicate with their cries, and it progresses naturally for most from there. We learn language by listening, observing, and mimicking. You all play vital roles in a child's oral language development. You can continue to develop and support your child's oral language and vocabulary by making chatter matter. Here are some suggestions that you probably naturally already do. At meal times, talk about the food you're preparing. Talk about the processes you're doing. Highlight the actions. Get your child to use their vocabulary to describe smells, tastes, and what things are looking like. Talk about objects outside the house when you are out on an outing. Notice and point out details and talk about them. Look for change in the environment and use that rich language to describe what you are noticing. Tell your child about stories when you were younger or about your child's past. At this age, children love hearing about the world when you were their age. Take advantage of that now before they become teenagers. Share your stories, share your history. And most importantly, don't be afraid to use sophisticated language. Unpack the words, and if you're unsure, demonstrate that you're a learner too and find out together. Make chatter matter through play. Play a good old game of I Spy. Challenge your child to name as many things as they can think of that start with a particular letter. Sing songs and nursery rhymes. Give your child a word and see how many words that they can come up with that rhyme with that word. Let's move on to phonological awareness. Phonological awareness is an understanding that spoken words are made up of sounds. It is having the ability to notice and think about the sounds we hear. We blend these sounds to create words. To support your child with this, you can practice nursery rhymes to really hear those families of words that rhyme. Ask your child how many syllables there are in things like McDonald's. This allows a child to hear beats in the words so that it makes longer words more approachable to decode. Create silly sentences like Steve saw a sea serpent sulking in the shallows to highlight the sound throughout this silly sentence. Let's talk about the element of phonics now. As we know, words are made up of small units of sounds, and phonics is hearing, identifying, and using those sounds to read those words as well as write the words. We can practice this by blending, segmenting, and deleting and manipulating sounds. We can blend two words together to make compound words. The example here is bath, room. We blend those two words together to make bathroom. We can segment by splitting these words as well. For example, rainbow. We segment that into two pieces, which is rain and bow. We can delete and manipulate sounds. For example, we have the word pet. We delete p and put in a g to make the word get. These are some fun interactive activities that you can do at home to support your child and their phonics. Fluency is reading at an appropriate pace with accuracy and expression. This makes for a nicer reading experience for the person who is reading as well as their potential audience. Repetition is key for fluency development, and that is why we send the same books home for 2 or 3 days in a row. This allows for that practice of reading aloud, as this is the most important part. The goal for all children is for decoding to become easy and automatic so that they can free up their attention to focus on the meaning of the text. This brings us to comprehension, and this is the way that we make meaning and the way that we understand the text, what we understand from what we have been reading. This is the true purpose of reading. And without comprehension and without this understanding, reading is meaningless. Here are some tips for helping you at home with shared reading. Develop a reading routine. This could be a bedtime story or getting your child to read to you on the way home from school in the car. You could read together in a place without distractions. Give yourself a few minutes outside or in another space where you can concentrate on the text. Create or decide upon a special place where this reading can be shared. Take turns in reading. Demonstrate that you are a reader as well. Be your child's number one fan. Celebrate with them. Notice those little things. Notice that they are using different strategies to help with their reading, and celebrate those. And be relaxed. Let your child read at their own pace. And it's very hard, but we must be patient and remember that they are learning. Here are some final tips for you as you go on and be your child's number one reading fan. Don't be afraid to read books and those favourite books from childhood. This really supports a child's love of reading. Allow your child to choose their own books. If you think that the words are too difficult for them, encourage them to create their own story based on the illustrations. Read different text types. Get involved with recipes and junk mails, picture books, magazines, audiobooks, poems. And don't focus too much on their reading level. Visit your public library and even make your own books at home.
We're now going to be hearing from a number of our junior primary teaching staff, and they're going to take you through 4 focused reading strategies that we really emphasise in our literacy component of teaching here at Parafield Gardens Primary School. The first strategy focuses on the pause, prompt and praise. The second strategy is questioning. The third strategy, book introductions. And strategy number 4 is tricky words. For further information on each of these reading strategies, please have a look through the packs that your child will bring home from school, and you can also speak further with your classroom teacher.
Hi, it's Karen Compo here. When you are helping your child with their reading, there are 3 ways that you can help them. Through pausing, then prompting, and then praising. So if a child may not know a word, you can prompt them. If your child is having trouble, you can ask them, what's the first sound in the word? Some words can be decodable, like cat, because you can sound out k, at, t. But if you say C-A-T, that doesn't sound like cat at all. So it's important that you use the sounds rather than the names of the letters. If your child still has a problem decoding the word, then you can tell them what the word is and then move on. You can praise your child when they have corrected an error. It might not make sense, so they might want to reread the sentence, or they can read the word after you've prompted them. If it's a word like no, and you sound out n-o, that doesn't even sound like no, so you can tell them that word. You can cover each sound in the word, or you can break it into parts if it's a word like singing. And if they still have difficulty, then tell them. Because as you know, reading is a really complex thing to do, but we want them to have enjoyment when they do it. Go.
Life on the beach Island was on holiday.
Let's have a look at that word there. What does that say? What's that one there say?
No holiday. every day. Z. D. Then
That's it. They're just initials. DD.
DD. And Rattel had
Well done.
it to look for food.
Excellent.
Dig, dig, dig. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It was long, slow, smiley.
When you come to a word like that, can you sound it out to help you? This one here.
Slow.
E. What's that word?
Smelly.
Got it. Well done.
Hi, I'm going to talk to you about asking questions, one of the reading strategies that we focus when we are reading a book. Readers who are actively involved in reading ask themselves questions before, during, and after reading a book. This not only increases their comprehension of what is being read, and it fully engages them in the reading process. As readers, when we are fully engaged in the reading process, we are more likely to remember important details and information. Asking questions is a great way for readers to monitor their comprehension of a text. In class or at home, your child has learned that successful readers generate their own questions and that not all questions generated will be answered. Learning to ask questions throughout the reading process is an important reading strategy because it teaches a reader to think aloud and make thinking visible to themselves and to others. It helps the readers to review important points in the reading, evaluate the quality of the text, make connections, and refine predictions. So some of the questions that you might ask before, during, and after the book are demonstrated in the video below.
Do you think it's a real picture or someone drew the picture?
Real.
Real photo? Yeah, very good. Questions would you like to ask the author before you read this book? No? Okay. Shall we read? Okay.
Saving up. I am saving my money. I am buy it. My dad says that is.
While you're reading the book, are you making any connections to the book, to the things they are talking about? Have you ever saved any money? Yeah. What do you save those money for?
When I get a house.
When you get a house, you might save a lot. You might need to save a lot
But
of
I
money.
need like a bigger one because my money.
Oh, the
box-
piggy bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like a big one.
A bigger box for the Okay.
Because my money is almost getting.
Okay.
My sister bought an ice cream. This is yummy, she said. You should buy an ice cream. Bought ACD. I wanted to buy one too, but I didn't. Now I have the money to buy something really special. I bought a new puppy.
Oh wow. So after reading the book, do you have any questions that you would like to ask the author now?
There was a lot of things, but no, I was saving up my money.
Yeah. Okay.
So, she was spending her money on lots of stuff.
Yeah. What else did you learn from the book?
That she's telling the girl is telling her like what she bought and stuff.
Okay.
And I like it that she's saving up her money to get something.
Well done. Good job reading. A high five.
Hi, this is Mrs. Alira and I will be discussing using book introductions with your child to support their reading. This part of reading a story is super important because you're equipping your child with lots of clues to support them in figuring out the text, as well as encouraging that sense of wonder and excitement that is not only going to be their motivation to read the story, but also develop that love of reading. We like to start off with asking your child to look at the cover of the book and talk about what they notice. So you'll be looking at the different characters, the setting, asking them what is happening and what they can see in the pictures. This allows children to explain their prior knowledge and begin exploring the vocabulary and ideas that they might encounter. These conversations are going to give them those clues that they will need to tackle the new words they encounter. Next, read the title of the book, author and illustrator with your child, and ask them what they think that the story might be about. They might make a connection to a place they've visited before or another story that has similar characters. Then quickly flick through the book with your child, looking at the pictures and talking about the characters and ideas you can see. At this point, we are not focusing on the words in the story though. Okay. Predicting comes up next, and you might also want to model making a prediction with your child. This will support them to have a think and share their own ideas. Okay, then next you're going to help your child to read the text using the reading strategies that will be discussed on the later slides. Also, please refer to the video attached for an example of a book introduction. Thank you.
Today we are going to be having a look at a new story, and we're going to be practicing our skills in predicting. Who knows what predicting means? Alexa? Oh yeah, you need to do some listening. We're going to be using our eyes and having a look at the pictures, and we're going to be making some guesses, okay? So we're going to start off having a look at our front cover. Use your eyes, have a look at our front cover. What can you see? Rebecca, what can you see? There are words, and we're going to read our words in a moment, but first we're going to just have a look at the pictures. What do we see in the pictures, Madison?
A caterpillar, and there's the boy's looking at it and it's smiling.
We see a little caterpillar.
And
we can see a boy, and he's smiling. So how do we think the boy is feeling if he's smiling? What do you think, Isla? He's feeling happy. Does anyone have some different words to describe how the boy might be feeling?
Yeah.
Mafia.
He's surprised.
Surprise. Can you all show me a surprise face? Oh, I heard another word. What was the other word that said how he might be feeling?
Excited.
Excited. He's excited. I'd like to make a guess. Charlie, what do you think might happen in the story?
Turn into a butterfly.
He might turn into a butterfly. Where have you seen that before, Charlie? I see you're making a connection.
Huh?
I see you're making a connection. Where have you seen a caterpillar turn into a butterfly before?
At home.
You've seen one at home. Was it inside or was it outside?
Inside.
Inside. So was it in a story?
No, it came in our house.
You saw a caterpillar come into your house. Wow, you're lucky.
Words containing different spelling patterns are called tricky words. Children who are emerging readers find these challenging because they cannot be read and spelled phonetically using the letter sound correspondence known by children at this developmental reading stage. These words are only tricky until children learn more advanced alphabetic codes, which they will learn throughout primary school. So how to teach the tricky words. There are 3 key elements to include when teaching the words. These are the letters that make up the word, the sounds that the letters make, and the meaning of the words. So if you have a look at the tricky word in the box in this slide, which is said, if I was to teach this, I would need to teach it in an explicit, systematic way. So first, we would identify the regular sounds and the tricky sounds in the word. So I could ask the child, what sounds do you know? And they might say that the S says the S sound and the D says the D sound. And then we would move on to the tricky part. So the tricky part in this word is the A sound, because normally the AI makes the A sound, but this time for this word, it makes the E sound. So instead of saying s-aid, said, you would sound it out s-ed, said. Then I would explain to them the meaning of the word. Hi everyone, I've just made a short clip to show you how to introduce the tricky words, Jolly Phonics tricky words to your children. So they should all have a book that looks like this, and we go over it the same way that I spoke about in the slideshow, but I just thought it'd be easier to see exactly what I'm doing. So if we go to a word like this word, it's a bit hard to see because it's back to front, but this word says they. If the children don't know that, then you would introduce it by first telling them the sounds that they do know. So they might say the th, and they make the th sound, y, the y. But does that make sense? No. So then you would say the E and the Y are the tricky part. They say A. So this word would be th-a, they. As in, they are going to the shops. They love to eat donuts. Let's do that again. So let's try with another word. This word is my, but if they don't know that, then you would introduce it by first asking them what sounds they do know. And they might say, this one makes the sound, this one makes the y sound, yeah. But that also doesn't make sense. So you explain to them that the does make the sound, but the y is the tricky part in the word. This says I. Y makes a short I sound at the end of short words. So, I, my. As in, my name is Miss Bright. Happy practicing.
This brings us to the end of our Emerging Readers presentation. Thank you for having a look at all the work our junior primary teachers have been putting into this. For further information, guidance and support, please speak with your child's classroom teacher. Parent information packs were sent home with reception to Year 2 students today. If you did not receive one, or you are a parent from outside of that year level bracket, please contact our front office and we'd be more than happy to prepare one for you. Thank you again and have a great night.